Monday, as part of an ongoing and the Tiffany Henyard leadership South FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Black Eyes are following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update.
Now we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard, the capacity of Dalton Mayor and Thornton.
The ongoing scandal surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, has captured widespread attention following an FBI investigation into her alleged misconduct. The FBI is seeking records from the Tiffany Kennedy Case Foundation, specifically regarding transactions exceeding $10,000. This has sent shockwaves through Dalton's trustees and local leaders, as mounting evidence continues to surface against Henyard. The investigation kicked off after FBI agents were spotted questioning prominent Dalton residents, although specifics have yet to be revealed. Long-standing allegations claim that Henyard used her political power for personal gain, fueling suspicions of further wrongdoing. As the investigation unfolds, Henyard's reputation as the so-called super mayor is rapidly unraveling, leaving her image in tatters. The FBI investigation into Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has sparked a series of allegations and concerns about potential misconduct involving public resources. 6 individuals, including local business owners, a former village employee, and at least 1 public official, have confirmed to Fox 32 that they were interviewed by the FBI. Some of these people have claimed they were denied business licenses after refusing to support Henyard's political campaign, raising serious questions about the possible connection between political influence and business operations in Dalton. One individual, Lawrence Gardner, revealed that electronic surveillance is part of the investigation, casting a troubling light on Henyard's leadership. FBI agents are specifically looking into allegations of Henyard's misuse of government funds, including hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on police overtime for her personal security and significant out-of-town travel expenses. They are also investigating claims that she used public employees and resources for personal gain, which may have led to delays in business licenses for various companies, including adult businesses and restaurants. A notable case involves Dwayne Wood, a restaurant owner in Dalton, who has been trying to renew his business license for nearly a year. Wood believes his renewal has been delayed because he caters to several trustees in Dalton who are embroiled in a political dispute with Henyard. He feels singled out because of his associations, raising concerns about the fairness of the process. Similarly, Chasen House, the owner of George's Talent, filed a complaint after his business license was delayed, alleging it was due to his refusal to endorse Henyard's campaign. House has welcomed the FBI investigation, emphasizing the need for transparency in the use of taxpayer dollars. He also pointed to his involvement with the state group and his ties to trustees who opposed Henyard as reasons for his suspended license. As the investigation continues, FBI agents are honing in on Henyard's alleged misuse of taxpayer funds, political influence, and the delay of business licenses. Her controversial handling of public resources has caused tensions in the community, with both business owners and local officials voicing concerns about her leadership and the potential for corruption. Many in Dalton are calling for increased financial transparency and accountability from their public officials. The ongoing investigation has already cast a shadow over Henyard's administration, and further revelations could deepen the scrutiny of her time as mayor.
Viewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges. Did the FBI get you Dr. serious about the investigation?
After years of corruption and mismanagement under Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration, the FBI's involvement has come as a long-awaited opportunity for the people of Dalton to finally confront these ongoing issues. The small town, which relies on its public servants to serve the common good, has instead found its government entangled in accusations of financial misconduct, self-interest, and a lack of accountability. Allegations of misused funds and resources under Henyard's leadership have further eroded public trust, with many claiming that personal gain was prioritized over public service. Dalton's prosperity depends on effective public services, and now, for the first time, the town has a real chance to break free from the cycle of alleged exploitation and inefficiency. There is hope that the future can be built on transparency, fiscal responsibility, and justice. Firefighters have been working without contracts, roads are deteriorating, and essential community needs have been overlooked. Yet Henyard's administration spent freely on events, made controversial appointments, and allowed unchecked spending. The FBI's involvement has validated the concerns of Henyard's critics, giving them renewed hope for accountability. This federal investigation represents a pivotal moment for Dalton, potentially dismantling what many see as a deeply entrenched network of deceit and favoritism. Public service employees who have watched their tax dollars be funneled into an administration with questionable priorities now view the investigation as a crucial step toward restoring both financial stability and the core values of justice and integrity in local government. Many residents believe real change is only possible with federal intervention. The investigation is seen as a necessary step to return Dalton's leadership to the people, ensuring that the community's needs are prioritized over the ambitions of a select few. As the investigation unfolds, Dalton's residents remain resolute in their demand for significant reform, aiming to ensure that future governance will truly serve the community. Their call for accountability and justice resonates throughout the town, offering a collective hope for a brighter future. Public outrage in Dalton has been steadily escalating following revelations that the FBI is requesting documents related to Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration. This growing outcry is entirely justified, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing controversy surrounding her leadership. Henyard has long faced criticism for accusations of corruption, poor management, and self-serving behavior. However, the federal investigation has now brought unprecedented attention to her actions, signaling what could be the end of a deeply troubled administration. The FBI's involvement suggests that the suspicions raised by locals and critics for years are being taken seriously, supporting long-standing claims of financial mismanagement and abuse of power. The investigation is progressing carefully, with the agency gathering crucial evidence to build a case against Henyard. While some of her administration's figures have attempted to downplay the significance of the probe, the community views it as a long overdue response to the grievances that have plagued Dalton under her leadership. Residents who have witnessed their town's reputation erode and essential services decline now see the investigation as a critical step toward uncovering the truth and holding those responsible accountable. The mounting pressure and rising public demands for accountability indicate that this investigation is not an isolated incident, but the culmination of years of alleged wrongdoing. A key focus of the FBI's inquiry is a series of records related to Henyard and several individuals and organizations, including financial and travel documents. Among the items being sought are details of Henyard's lavish spending, including a controversial trip to Las Vegas last year. During that trip, Henyard's former assistant and a Dalton police officer filed a civil lawsuit accusing Henyard and her associate, Andrew Holmes, of assault and retaliation. These allegations have only fueled suspicions of Henyard's misuse of power and resources. Henyard and Holmes have declined to comment on the lawsuit. The first subpoenas in the investigation were issued on April 10th, demanding personnel and disciplinary files for nearly 30 individuals connected to Henyard's administration. These documents are essential to understanding the full extent of what may have been happening behind closed doors. The subpoenas also seek information about Keith Freeman, the village administrator recently indicted on charges of bankruptcy fraud. Freeman's attorney has stated that Freeman has no plans to step down despite the indictment, adding to the growing list of scandals surrounding Dalton's leadership. Meanwhile, the law firm representing the village in at least 19 lawsuits in Cook County and federal court has announced plans to withdraw from these cases in May due to unpaid fees. This highlights the deep financial instability facing the town and raises further questions about how taxpayer money has been managed under Henyard's leadership. Henyard's refusal to allow an open and transparent investigation into her actions has long been a point of contention. When given the chance to facilitate such an inquiry, many believe it could have addressed the growing accusations of corruption and misconduct. Instead, Henyard vetoed a proposal to investigate her own behavior, heightening public skepticism and fueling speculation about what she might be trying to conceal. This decision has only intensified residents' frustration with an administration characterized by financial mismanagement, arbitrary appointments, and retaliation against political opponents. Critics argue that Henyard's actions reveal a leader more focused on protecting her own interests than on serving the community. Her refusal to allow an independent investigation has deepened the sense of betrayal among residents, further eroding public trust. Many believe that Henyard is using her power to shield herself from the consequences of her actions, and her refusal to engage with the investigation or promote transparency only strengthens the belief that she is hiding serious wrongdoing. The arrival of FBI agents in Dalton has only intensified public attention. While the agency has not disclosed specifics about their presence, they confirmed that they were conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity. Despite the lack of details, many residents are convinced the investigation is focused on Henyard, who has been under FBI scrutiny for weeks.
The FBI would said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may be occurring. A public relations firm responded on behalf of the mayor, saying neither Henyard or the village of Dalton have received any subpoenas or been contacted by the FBI.
For the community, the FBI's involvement is seen as a long-awaited validation of their concerns and a hopeful sign that the truth will finally come to light. In addition to Henyard, questions are mounting about the network of power surrounding her administration. Keith Freeman, the village administrator accused of intentionally underreporting his income in his bankruptcy case, is also under scrutiny. Freeman, who runs a consulting business, is awaiting arraignment, and his charges are just one piece of the larger puzzle, contributing to the growing concerns about Dalton's leadership. The scandal has also led to a civil lawsuit against Henyard and Andrew Holmes, filed by Henyard's former assistant and a former police officer. The lawsuit alleges assault and retaliation, which reportedly occurred after a trip to Las Vegas last year. These new allegations only add to the mounting scrutiny of Henyard's actions, further raising concerns about her leadership and attempts to silence critics. In one recent meeting, Henyard tried to address the town's budget, but her efforts to steer the conversation were met with resistance. At one point, she even ordered the removal of a resident accused of disrupting the meeting, intensifying the criticism of her leadership style. Firefighters, long critical of Henyard's administration, have joined the call for accountability. One firefighter accused Henyard of embezzling funds from the Firefighter Retirement Fund, further damaging her credibility. Many firefighters have been hesitant to speak out, fearing retaliation or career repercussions, with some claiming they've been intimidated into silence. The mounting accusations against Henyard paint a troubling picture of a leader more concerned with self-preservation than serving the people of Dalton. From obstructing transparency to allegedly embezzling funds and retaliating against opponents, Henyard's actions are increasingly seen as a betrayal of the trust placed in her by the community. As the federal investigation continues, Dalton's residents anxiously await the truth. The growing public outcry signals that the community is no longer willing to tolerate the corruption and mismanagement that have plagued the town under Henyard's leadership. This investigation is not only about holding Henyard accountable. It's about restoring confidence in local government and ensuring that corruption is eradicated. Dalton is at a critical crossroads. The outcome of the federal investigation will either validate the suspicions of its residents or lead to much-needed reforms in the town's leadership. For many, this represents a final opportunity to uncover the truth, hold the responsible parties accountable, and rebuild the trust that has been lost under Henyard's administration. Whether or not this chance for justice will be realized remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. The people of Dalton are no longer willing to tolerate the corruption, inefficiency, and poor management that have plagued their community for far too long. Dalton is currently grappling with the fallout from a federal investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's conduct, and tensions are running high in the community. Despite the mounting allegations against her, Dalton's firefighters have remained dedicated to their work, ensuring public safety while pushing for greater transparency from Henyard's administration. One of their primary concerns is the mayor's questionable travel benefits and compensation, which have come under increasing scrutiny. Julian Cruz of WGN reported that frustration in Dalton has reached a boiling point, especially after the Thornton Township Board of Trustees failed to fully approve the 2025 budget, sparking unrest across the 17 South suburban villages. Many residents are disillusioned with Township Supervisor Henyard, who is at the center of the federal corruption investigation. Amid growing criticism, Henyard was recently seen celebrating with her supporters at a public hearing, a move that only fueled further tension. Local residents, already frustrated by the ongoing investigation, expressed their dissatisfaction over her escalating spending, with one local resident emotionally stating, "You increase everything across the board as if you're trying to drain the money." This sentiment reflects the rising anger toward Henyard as her leadership continues to raise concerns. Henyard, however, maintains that the funds for these expenditures came from her own pocket, though the source of the money remains unclear. This lack of transparency has only deepened doubts about her claims and motivations. One of the most controversial incidents was the community event Henyard organized, billed as the Friends of Tiffany Henyard Picnic. Despite her insistence that the event wasn't politically motivated, trustees refused to fund it, citing its obvious ties to her political campaign. The event featured food giveaways and roller skating, which many viewed as a public relations stunt designed to improve Henyard's image amidst the growing corruption allegations. Henyard's lawyer disputes these claims, arguing it was simply a community picnic. Critics, however, argue that public resources were misused to advance Henyard's political ambitions, especially after food items were branded with her campaign logo. This, they contend, turned what was meant to be a charitable event into a political rally. In a subsequent Facebook video, Henyard defended the food distribution event, asserting that she was simply fulfilling her role as the township's food pantry organizer. "We got green beans, we got potatoes, you name it," she said, before pleading with God to guide the community and clear her name amidst the rising corruption allegations. The situation became even more complicated with the involvement of the Greater Chicago Food Depository, which oversees food distribution programs. The depository expressed concern about Henyard's handling of township resources, particularly the roller skating event, which ballooned in cost from $29,000 to an eye-popping $117,000. Critics argue that public funds should not be spent for personal or political gain, especially when they're intended to serve Dalton's most vulnerable residents. Despite the growing backlash, Henyard has remained defiant. She insists that those who try to control things beyond their reach will always target people like her, who genuinely care about the community. Henyard has also described herself as a young, dynamic leader who will not be intimidated by the accusations. However, her rhetoric has done little to quell suspicions about her actions. As the investigation into Henyard's finances continues, more troubling details are emerging. It has been revealed that taxpayers paid over $888,000 for hotel rooms related to Henyard's activities. This, combined with earlier allegations that Henyard used public funds for political purposes, has only deepened the public's mistrust. The Illinois Attorney General had previously closed investigations into her charitable activities, adding to the challenges Henyard faces. Yet she maintains that she was chosen by a higher power to lead and serve the community. "God wanted me to lead the people, and He knew that I would not back down," she asserted. However, many residents view this claim of divine intervention as an attempt to deflect attention from the serious allegations against her. The federal investigation is ongoing, and with each new revelation, the evidence against Henyard continues to mount. Her refusal to be transparent about her financial dealings has only fueled the public's mistrust, while her apparent disregard for the seriousness of the situation has worsened her standing in the community. Her refusal to engage with the investigation or provide full disclosure about her actions has led many to question her commitment to serving the people who elected her. The investigation, now drawing national attention, has become a focal point of public discourse. As Dalton residents and the wider community await justice and answers, the situation is reaching a breaking point. The growing public outcry signals that the community's patience is running thin. The outcome of the investigation could have far-reaching consequences for Henyard's political future and the future of Dalton's governance. Calls for transparency and accountability continue to grow louder, with residents demanding answers and justice for the alleged mismanagement and misconduct that have plagued their town for years. Dalton stands at a critical crossroads, with the investigation into Henyard's actions serving as a turning point for the town. The evidence being uncovered could either confirm long-held suspicions about her leadership or spark much-needed reforms that restore faith in local governance. For many residents, this investigation represents more than just holding one individual accountable. It's about rebuilding trust in local government and ensuring that future leadership is held to the highest standards of integrity. The federal investigation into Henyard's activities is far from over, and as more details emerge, the pressure on Henyard and her administration continues to intensify. With each passing day, Dalton's residents are becoming more anxious for the truth to come to light. They are hoping for a future where leaders are held accountable. Transparency is the norm, and the community's best interests are always prioritized over personal ambitions. Whether that future becomes a reality depends on the outcome of the ongoing investigation and whether the people of Dalton can reclaim the governance they feel has been taken from them.